Hello everyone and welcome to the Week 16 edition of Instant Replay, where I give you my take on the most controversial plays of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We start in Orlando, where we had the first of several dramatic endings with this Jonathan Spector stoppage time equalizer in what was a wild 3-3 draw. But the visiting Montreal Impact were arguing the corner should never have been given in the first place. Unfortunately, we don't have a good look to say for sure. It was a heated finish with Orlando chasing the result, and in my opinion, their midfielder, Matias Perez-Garcia, rightly saw a yellow card from referee Chris Penso for throwing this ball at Montreal's Hassoun Kamara. Speaking of Perez-Garcia, I think he arguably drew a foul in the box in the 80th minute when replays show Montreal defender Victor Cabrera hooking his left leg into the Orlando playmaker. No penalty called by Penso, who ruled it a fair tackle, and Cabrera does come away with the ball. Matias Perez-Garcia did score his first goal in an Orlando uniform to open all the scoring festivities, and this too was another big talking point. Here's the question: was the ball already out of play by the time Kaká crosses it to MPG for the goal? Even the Montreal Impact were asking the question on Twitter, accompanied by a photo that showed some green between the ball and the line. But as you all know, even a sliver of grass is not enough for a ball to be out of play. Since the ball is round, even the portion of the ball that hovers over the line without touching it keeps the ball in play. And from the angles we have, you just can't say conclusively that it completely crossed the plane of the end line. The goal stands. To rainy Yankee Stadium and the New York City FC Seattle match, and in the 22nd minute, Sounders defender Jovan Jones was slipping right across Jack Harrison, who hits the deck. But it's impossible to tell from the angles we have just how much contact there might have been and whether it was enough to bring down Harrison. From this replay at least, the no call by referee Robert Sabiga looks like the right decision. Sabiga did call a penalty for NYCFC in the 51st minute, and it was a hotly debated decision. He judged Seattle's O'Neal Fisher to have fouled New York's David Villa. It looks to me, however, like Fisher successfully pokes the ball away, and it's Villa who's leaning into him. Regardless, Sabiga points to the spot, and Villa got his first of two to win the game for the home team. Next up, Talon Energy Stadium, where the Red Bulls 1-2 zip, and both goals came after Philly went down to 10 men, following this 53rd minute red card to Derek Jones. And there's no doubt about this one for me. Jones goes over the ball and sends his studs into New York's Felipe. That draws the red card from referee Alan Chapman, although Union head coach Jim Curtin disagreed with the decision post-game. It was a fairly comfortable win for the Red Bulls after that, but they had previously appealed for a penalty on two separate occasions inside the first 15 minutes of the match. First, in the 7th minute, this looks to me like a handball by Feliz Oguchi Onyewu, who leaves that left arm out just enough to block the shot. It did not look to me like the position of the arm was meant to protect his body. The referee says play on. Then 5 minutes later, the other Union center back, Jack Elliott, looks to be playing the man, Aaron Long, not the ball. And I think anywhere on the field, that's a foul for me. Chapman doesn't agree, and play continues. To California, and while there was nothing of note to look at in San Jose, down south in LA, referee Eladio Grajeda doesn't call an infraction on Houston goalkeeper Tyler Derrick, ruling that this ball did not cross the plane of the penalty area in its entirety. Remember, it's not where the goalkeeper's body is, it's where the ball is, and whether it's completely outside the box. We don't have a good replay, but it looked to me like that was the right call. To the play everyone was talking about at StubHub, and it came in second half stoppage time. The equalizing goal by Romain Alessandrini, who ties it up in the 95th minute. But was he offside? The replay seemed to indicate it, and Grajeda and assistant Ian Anderson do talk it over, but the goal stands. It finishes 2-2 at StubHub Center. Referee Alan Kelly had a few decisions to make in Vancouver, where the Whitecaps and FC Dallas finished tied 1-1. Let's take the instances in sequence. 2 minutes into the second half, the score is still 0-0 when Vancouver's Russell Tybert goes down in the box. But the contact from Dallas's Carlos Grueso is slight. No whistle from Kelly, and I'm with him on that one. On the other end, Dallas's Michael Barrios wanted a handball called on Jordan Harvey. But Harvey's arms are not only tucked in, his arms are also behind his back while sliding. That's tough to do. Absolutely no handball there, and the referee doesn't call it. Kelly also declines to point to the spot in the 81st minute when Dallas defender Mainu Figueroa tackles the ball away from Vancouver's Christian Techera. But I see this one differently. With the benefit of the replay, it looks to me like Figueroa whiffs on the tackle and he goes over the ball and gets Techera. No whistle from the referee. Staying at BC Place, there was some talk on the broadcast that Vancouver's Matias Laba perhaps could have seen a second yellow for this foul on Dallas playmaker Mauro Diaz. No way. Yes, it's a foul, but it's a fair challenge, and that's how Kelly sees it too. No second yellow and no red card. In Atlanta, we had two penalty shouts, one for each side. First, Crew SC's Ola Kamara is baffled he didn't get the call in the 42nd minute with the score at 1-1. But I thought Atlanta defender Michael Parkhurst had position on Kamara. Referee Ricardo Salazar says play on. Another good no call in the second half. It's Atlanta's Yamil Assad going down here, but that's a fair challenge. Salazar says goal kick, and I agree. And before we leave Babydad, there was this really awkward challenge by Crew SC's Harrison Afoul on Assad in the 53rd minute. This was punished with a yellow card from the referee, but with Afoul seeming to reach in for the face/head, I thought he really ran the risk of a red. Toronto FC kept on rolling with a 2-0 win over DC United in Week 16, but with the score still 0-0 in the 54th minute, Toronto had a shot for a penalty when the ball looks to me like it goes off the right arm of DC defender Kofi Opare. But referee Jose Carlos Rivero says play on. TFC would finally break through in the 60th minute on this goal by Josie Altidore, and I think that's a great spot by assistant Adam Winkowski, who judged Altidore to be even with the last defender on the pass over the top from Sebastian Giovinco. Another hot team, the Chicago Fire, they won on the road in New England, and kudos are due to assistant referee Craig Lowry, who kept his flag down on the opening goal by MLS top scorer Nemanja Nikolic. That's a tough call to make with the forward and defender crisscrossing at those speeds, but he nailed it, and for my money, that's the best decision of the week. Now, the Revs were hoping for a potentially equalizing penalty in the 72nd minute, but I'm with referee Kevin Stott on this one. Although the arm by Chicago's Matt Polster does come up high, New England's Lee Wynn looks to me like he exaggerates the contact. Then, toward the end of the match, the Revs wanted a handball called on Chicago's Nemanja Nikolic, but his arms are not extended in an unnatural position, and players are allowed to protect themselves. The no call from Stott was the right decision for me. At Rio Tinto Stadium, there were some questions around Yura Movsisyan's game winner, but after watching it, I don't see anything wrong here. Yes, there's an appeal by Real Salt Lake for a handball offense that they allege was committed by Minnesota's Francisco Calvo, but no whistle came from referee Marcos de Oliveira, the ball was loose, and Movsisyan scored. Pretty straightforward stuff to me. Now, had Movsisyan not scored on his shot, it would have been interesting to see if de Oliveira would have called the penalty, because he was still within the generally accepted time frame of allowing a few seconds for advantage. And we end in Colorado, where there was a shout for a Portland Timbers penalty with 15 minutes left, and the match tied at 1. But it looks to me like this shot hits the back of Colorado's Marlon Hairston. I think that's a good no call by referee Baldomero Toledo. The Rapids would eventually win it in the final minute on this goal by super sub Alan Gordon, but we heard from a few of you on Twitter who wanted a red card shown to Gordon for his post-goal celebration. Technically, you're right. Toledo could have given 2 yellow cards for the same play, since both offenses are listed as cautions in, quote, celebration of a goal, page 86, law 12. Now, Toledo did show Gordon just 1 yellow, but what would you have done? Let us know in the comment section below, and until next week, for our editor Rich Hernandez, I'm Simon Borg. See you next time!